It's time for another episode of Nerd Immersion's Guide to Everything. This time, we're going to be talking about chase rules from the Dungeon Master's Guide. If you're unfamiliar with what chase rules are, or you just want a refresher where I tell it to you and you don't have to read it, stay tuned. So first up, I did just want to say before I jump into this video that if you haven't taken a moment to subscribe to the channel and you do like what I'm doing, I would greatly appreciate that if you did so. I will show you real quick a metric right above me here that shows that currently 65% of you who watch my content, at least for the month of February, are not subscribed to the channel. I do want to say thank you to everyone who has. This is down from 79% in January to 65% here in February, and we're still only a little more than halfway through the month. So again, if you do enjoy the content and you'd like to see more of this and help the channel out by just clicking a couple buttons on your screen, please go ahead and do so. So that being said, let's jump over to D&D Beyond, and we're in Chapter 8 this time, running the game. So we're going to be talking about chases. So what is this? And I've actually used these before. I used them very early on in my first, I think in like episode 14 of one of my old homebrew games. And the concept behind the chases was it's a way to essentially do combat, if you will, without actually having to do combat, right? Rolling to attack, to hit, that kind of thing. You're removing the concept of combat, but still having a contention. So there is clearly going to be a winner or a loser in this scenario. And it's also a cool way to award experience points, or honestly, just to change things up. I'll tell you how I did mine in my game, and then I'll talk a little bit about towards the end about other ways you can actually use this in probably the way it was intended. So it says strict application of the movement rules can turn a potentially exciting chase into a dull, predictable affair. And that is 100% true, right? So the enemy is running away, and you are chasing them. They have 30 feet movement speed. You have 30 feet movement speed. You dash. They dash. Maybe you're a rogue and you can bonus action dash so you can start to overtake them. And that is just boring, right? It's just, I move. It takes me 4 turns. I overrun them. I catch them. We win. So this is to change that and make it dynamic. And if you think about any good like chase scene in a cartoon or a TV show or a movie, there's always like you're running. I mean, think about, there's iconic scenes in Game of Thrones and Terminator and all these other things where people are running, chasing someone, and they're throwing stuff over and leaping over things and dipping and diving through areas. And that's cool visual for you to watch. And it's interesting to try to replicate that in D&D. So that's why we have chase rules. So, this set of rules can make chases more exciting. So it says beginning a chase. A chase requires a quarry and a pursuer, right? Someone to chase, the chaser, and the chasee, if you will. Any participants not already in the initiative order must roll initiative. As in combat, each participant in the chase can take one action and move on their turn. The chase ends when one side drops out or the quarry escapes. When a chase begins, determine the starting distance between the quarry and the pursuers. Track the distance between them and designate the pursuer closest to the quarry as the lead. The lead pursuer might change from round to round. So again, you are setting this up. They're 30 feet away. Chase begins. Who's in front, who's behind. So now let's talk about running it. Participants in the chase are strongly motivated to use the dash action every round. Pursuers who stop to cast spells and make attacks run the risk of losing their quarry, and a quarry that does so is likely to be caught, right? If I'm running away from you and I turn around to cast a spell at you, well, you're still running while I'm casting, so maybe you catch me. Vice versa, if I stop to maybe line up a shot and you're still running, I may lose you. Dashing. During the chase, a participant can freely use the dash action a number of times equal to 3 plus their constitution modifier. Each additional dash action it takes during the chase requires the creature to succeed on a DC 10 con check, not saving throw, at the end of its turn or gain 1 level of exhaustion. Participant drops out of the chase if the exhaustion level reaches level 5, since its speed becomes 0. A creature can remove the levels of exhaustion it gained during the chase by finishing a short or long rest. The concept of this is I'm pushing myself beyond my normal means to just get that burst of speed to chase this person down. I can only maintain that speed for so long, hence the Constitution saving throws or checks. A chase participant can make attacks and cast spells against any other creatures within range, apply the normal rules for cover, terrain, and so on. Chase participants can't normally make opportunity attacks against each other, since they're all assumed to be moving in the same direction at the same time. However, participants can still be the targets of opportunity attacks from creatures not participating in the chase. For example, adventurers who chase a thief past a gang of thugs in an alley might provoke attacks of opportunity from the thugs. How do we end the chase? Chase ends when one side or another stops, when the quarry who you're chasing escapes, or when the pursuer are close enough to their quarry to catch it. If neither side gives up the chase, the quarry makes a stealth check at the end of each round after every participant in the chase has taken its turn. The result is compared to the passive perception scores of the pursuers. If the quarry consists of multiple creatures, they all make a check. If the quarry is never out of the lead pursuer's sight, the check fails automatically. Otherwise, if the result of the quarry's check is greater than the highest passive perception score, that quarry escapes. If not, the chase continues for another round. Quarry gains advantage or disadvantage on its check based on prevailing circumstances, as shown in the escape factors table, which we'll go over. If one or more of the factors give the quarry advantage and disadvantage, they have neither. So escape factors: quarry has many things to hide behind, gives them advantage. Is in a crowded or noisy area, also advantage. Has little things to hide behind, is disadvantage. No crowds, disadvantage. The lead pursuer is a ranger, and this is one of the few things rangers are good at, specifically is a ranger or has proficiency in survival. Other factors may help or hinder the quarry's ability to escape. For example, fairy fire would help, right? You give you a disadvantage because you're lit up. Escape doesn't necessarily mean the quarry has outpaced its pursuers. For example, think like Assassin's Creed, right? You're hiding from the guards, you just sort of blend into the crowd. You're not escaping by leaving the area, you're just essentially hiding by disappearing into the crowd. Chase complications. Now, this is where it gets really fun, especially if you make your own. So with any good chase scene, there's going to be complications. Complications occur randomly. Each participant in the chase rolls a d20 at the end of their turn. Consult the appropriate table to determine whether a complication occurs. If it does, it affects the next chase participant in the order. So you roll initiative, as we said, and you go down the order. So I roll a 17. You're behind me. You're going to get affected by the 17. Participant who rolled the die or the participant affected by the complication can spend inspiration, another use for the inspiration mechanic, to negate that complication. Characters can create their own complications to shake off pursuers, for example, casting the web spell in a narrow alleyway. Adjudicate these as you see fit. So here we have two different versions. We have urban chase complications and then woodland. So let's go through urban, right? We have a d20. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I'll give you a couple ideas, right? A large obstacle such as a horse or cart blocks your way. Make an acrobatics check to get past the obstacle, DC 15. On a failed check, the obstacle counts as 10 feet of difficult terrain, so using 20 feet of movement to get past it. A large stained glass window or similar barrier blocks your path. Make a DC 10 strength saving throw to smash through it and keep going. On a fail, you bounce off and fall prone. You run into a brawl in progress. Make DC 15 athletics, dexterity, acrobatics, or intimidation check, your choice, to get past the brawlers unimpeded. On a failed check, you take 2d4 bludgeoning damage, and the brawlers count as 10 feet of difficult terrain. And then 11 through 20, no complication. Same scenario, but now we're in wilderness, right? Your path takes you through a rough patch of brush. Make a DC 10 athletics check or extra acrobatics check to get past the brush. You run through a swarm of insects. The swarm makes opportunity attacks against you. +3 to hit, 44 piercing damage on a hit. We have a sudden drop, catches you by surprise. Make a DC 10 dex saving throw to navigate the impediment. On a failed save, you fall 1d4 times 5 feet, taking 1d6 bludgeoning damage per 10 feet fallen as normal and land prone. And then again, 11 through 20, no complication. So a couple other notes here. As I said, design your own tables. It's more fun that way. Splitting up. Creatures being chased can split up into smaller groups. The tactic forces pursuers to divide their forces or allow the quarry to escape. If a pursuit splits into several smaller chases, Resolve each chase separately. Run a round of one chase, then a round of the next, and so on, so it's not confusing. Then mapping the chase. If you have the opportunity to plan it out, take the time to draw a rough map that shows the route. This is crucial, I think. Insert obstacles at specific points, especially ones that require the characters to make ability checks or saving throws to avoid slowing or stopping. Right? This could be a pool of mud, maybe a cart, maybe there's an actual like river that they have to get past. Otherwise, improvise as you play. Complications can be barriers to progress or opportunities for mayhem. Characters being chased through a forest by bugbears might spot a wasp nest and slow down long enough to attack the nest or throw rocks at it to create obstacles for their pursuers. A map of a chase can be linear or have many branches depending on the nature of the chase. For example, a minecart chase might have a few, if any, branches, while a sewer chase could have several. And lastly, we have role reversal. During a chase, it's possible for the pursuers to become the quarry. For example, characters chasing a thief through a marketplace might draw unwanted attention from other members of the Thieves Guild. As they pursue the fleeing thief, they may also evade the thieves pursuing them. Roll initiative for the new arrivals and run both chases simultaneously. In another scenario, the fleeing thief might run into awaiting arms of his accomplices. The outnumbered characters might decide to flee with the thieves in pursuit. So that's the chase rules as presented in the DMG. I really like the concept of the chase. I actually almost ran one accidentally, not even planned, tonight in my homebrew campaign. So the way I've used, I think, chase rules twice. I used one, actually, in that early episode I told you of, and I actually made it. It wasn't a chase. I guess it was a chase, per se, but it was more of a race. Like, it was a festival event. It was like a winter, holiday, Christmas theme thing, and there was, like, a greased pig, right? Like, that kind of... The townsfolk led a greased pig through the town, and, like, you know, people who enter into the race have to try to catch it. So you are competing against other people trying to chase down this thing through the town, and it was snow and slippery and ice, and holiday peoples, or a lot of people around sharing stories, sharing great food. So it made for a very unique chase scene because you're trying to like jump over stuff, dip and dodge through people to try to catch this thing to ultimately win the prize at the end of the day. So I really like the chase rules. I want to incorporate them more. I would love an update on the chase rules from Wizards of the Coast. Maybe things that they've learned in 5 years, maybe more complication tables. Obviously, yes, like I said, I made up my own for that particular setting. But a lot of people don't have a ton of time to sit down and build all these tables out. So having more options for other environments, even just additional options based on what we already have, additional urban, additional wilderness options for those chase tables, and maybe a couple new mechanics potentially if they've recognized new things work better or worse. So anyway, I really enjoy the idea of a chase. Have you run chases in your D&D games? How'd it go? I want to know. Leave me information down in the comments below. Thank you once again so much for watching. Sorry, I'm very tired and kind of congested. And I will see you next time.